Hello, friends. I'm a storyteller. I know you're here to escape the chaos of the world and drift into a peaceful night. But tonight's stories, they're not just here to calm your mind. They're here to pull you into a deeper, darker place. Relax, find your coziest spot, and close your eyes. Let the sound of the rain wash away the weight of your day. Please, subscribe and comment below. Where are you watching from? Your country? And what time are you watching this video? Why? Because these stories are woven just for you. Now, let's start.
Story 1. The Last Patient of Dr. Vales. Location: Dr. Vales' office. Dimly lit. Rain tapping on glass. Ventilator humming. I hear the rain whispering on my window in soft, endless patterns. It's always raining when Ethan visits. Always. The lamp on my desk flickers gently, casting long shadows across the bookshelves. The leather of my chair creaks slightly as I lean forward, staring at the pale man across from me. Ethan Blackwell. He's always early. He never looks rushed, just already waiting, like he's been here long before I entered the room. He sits perfectly still, not unnaturally more like a sculpture that simply refuses to age. His fingers rest on the chair's arms, long and bony, the veins like blue threads beneath parchment skin. He watches me. No smile, no blink, no pulse I can perceive. I glance. Down at my notes, just scribbles, symbols. The penmanship doesn't look like mine anymore. I turn the page. My handwriting has started curling into shapes I can't place. They look like spirals. Eyes, teeth. How are you feeling today, Ethan? He blinks once. A slow, deliberate act. Tired. He always says that dot, but today his voice is brittle. It breaks between syllables like dry leaves underfoot. Something about the word wraps around me. Cold, sharp. The ventilator behind him hisses, then pauses, then resumes, a breath that isn't his, but somehow is. As though the room is sharing his air. The dreams. Ethan, are they continuing? He shifts slightly, just enough to make the old chair creak. His eyes move, but not toward me, toward the ceiling. There's a corridor. His voice lowers, like it fears being overheard. It stretches forever, but I always stop at the same point. The smell there, it's like formaldehyde and burnt sugar. The air in the room thickens. The rain grows heavier, hitting the window with sharper rhythms. A faint scent enters the air, something chemical, sweet, but wrong. Where does it lead? He exhales. The sound is smooth, controlled, rehearsed. To a door. One no one should open. A shiver traces my spine. I grip my pen, pressing it into the paper until the nib tears it. Ink bleeds like a wound. I flip the page. Have you opened it, Ethan? He doesn't respond. His head turns slowly to the corner shelf where the recorder sits. The red light pulses steadily, steady as a metronome. There was a sound behind the door, like wires swimming through water. My chest tightens. Suddenly, I feel it to a throb beneath my chair. A subtle vibration, repetitive, organic, like a heartbeat beneath the floor. Do you hear that? I ask. He looks at me. Calm. Empty. There's nothing wrong with the floor, Dr. Vales, but something's wrong with you. I swallow hard. My pulse is now the loudest thing in the room, even above the rain. Explain. Ethan lifts his hand and begins to trace a slow circle on the chair's arm. Round and round. Like he's drawing a symbol that only he remembers. It's not something I can explain, he says, but I can show you soon. I shift forward. My chair complains beneath my weight. Have you hurt anyone, Ethan? In this world, he smiles. Just a thin sliver of teeth. I only remember the ones who begged. A sharp pang races through my chest. I want to end this, but I don't. Something inside me wants more. I glance behind him. The wall, it's forming cracks, not from decay, but shaped like it's trying to create something spiral-like. I squint. The cracks look like letters. Latin, no. Older, you spoke of voices last week. His gaze snaps to me. Where do they come from? He tilts his head. Below. Beneath the building. There's nothing beneath us, just solid rock. Then why does it echo when you walk here at night? The lamp hums. It doesn't flicker now. It pulses slow, rhythmic, like a signal syncing with the rain. I begin to feel faint. I close the notebook slowly. It feels heavier than before. Real pause here. He leans forward, lips close to the edge of whispering. You can't pause what's already begun. I rise. My legs feel numb, as if I've sat for days, not minutes. The ventilator lets out a noise it shouldn't like. A wet cough. I ignore it. That's enough for today. I reach for the recorder. Dr. Vales. I freeze. Do you dream anymore? I don't answer, because lately I haven't slept. Later, my home office rain again. Always rain. I sit at my desk. The session recorder rests beside my cup. The audio is rewinding. A low mechanical sound fills the room. Familiar. I press play. My voice. His voice. Questions. Silence. Then another voice. Not mine. Not his. He was never your patient. I sit upright. Pause. I rewind and play it again. There's no mistake. It's there. He was never your patient. My breath trembles. I reach to stop the recording, but the whisper, it continues, even with the tape off outside. The rain grows louder. The lights dim. The house groans. Then the voice again. Closer this time. Inside my room. You opened the door to. I spin around. No one. But the shadow under my desk has shape now. A breathing curve. Not mine. My skin. PRICKLES. In the static. The recorder clicks. One last time. You are already inside. Location. Clinic lower floor. After hours. Rain pouring. One emergency light flickering. I stayed after closing. The clinic was empty. No nurses. No staff. Just the hum of the vending machine down the hall. And the rain clawing at the windows. Like desperate fingers. I couldn't go home. Not after what I heard on the recording. Not after that whisper. You are already inside. I tried to shake it. Told myself it was stress, auditory hallucinations, lack of sleep. But deep inside, something heavier was pressing against my thoughts. like a rhythm pulsing beneath my awareness, a second heartbeat. I left my office with a flashlight and walked slowly down the north hallway, the one we never use. The one Ethan kept referencing. There's a corridor that stretches forever, he said. But this hallway ended in 17 steps. I counted them. 1, 2, 3. At step 9, I felt the floor change under me, slightly softer, less concrete, more skin-like. I stopped breathing for a moment, pointed the flashlight down. The tiles were normal, white, cold dot, but my foot remembered something else. Step 17 came, and the wall stood in front of me. Or what should have been a wall. There was a door, metal, rusted, with no handle. It hadn't been there yesterday. I placed my palm on the surface. Cold to cold. Like something beneath it was sucking heat out of the air and out of me. Then I heard it, a long, mechanical inhale, like someone sleeping behind the door. Or something. Ethan, I whispered, though I wasn't sure why. My hand trembled. I should have left, but instead, I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out my access card. There was no reader on the door, but as soon as I held the card near it, it clicked. Just once, a sigh from metal. And the door opened by itself inside. Darkness. Thick, velvety, humming darkness. I stepped in. The floor didn't echo. There were no lights, no visible fixtures, just the sound of constant, low thrum, like a massive throat gently vibrating. I could smell something now, not rot, not chemical, not even mildew. It was familiar. The way skin smells after fear. And that same burnt sugar Ethan had described. I kept walking. Each step felt slower. My flashlight flickered, then died. But somehow, I could still see, or maybe I didn't need to. The corridor curved now, and I could hear it. Breathing. Something was alive in the walls. It didn't speak. It didn't move. But it waited. I could feel it watching, not through eyes, but through presence. A consciousness stretched across the air itself. I stopped walking. I'm not supposed to be here, I said aloud. The breath paused. Then resumed. Louder. Then a whisper brushed the inside of my left ear. You were never outside. I turned around fast. Nothing. But the hallway was different now. The walls had a soft sheen. Not painted, not dry. They looked wet, breathing, pulsing in time with that same hum I'd heard in the ventilator. I ran, faster than I've run since medical school. My footsteps made no sound. My breaths came hard but disappeared before they echoed. There was no door behind me anymore, only a growing sound like fingers tapping glass from the other side. Then I heard my own voice, faint. It stretches forever, but I always stop at the same point. It was Ethan's voice first, then mine. Then something deeper underneath us, both. 3 layers, all repeating, in perfect sync. And beneath it all, I heard my name, not spoken, exhaled, Vales. I stopped running. There was no end. Just breath, pulsing, whispering. My flashlight came back for a second. In that flash I saw a chair, just like the one in my office, facing a wall. On it, someone sat, not moving. Their back looked like mine, their coat, the same dot, and then it turned. But there was no face, only a mouth, breathing me in. I blinked, and I was back in my office. The rain was still tapping. The lamp still flickered, but my hands were wet, and I was holding my flashlight. No one else was in the room, except the chair across from me, occupied, not by Ethan, but by me. Or what looked like me, except the skin was too smooth, the eyes too glassy, and it didn't blink. I rose slowly, but the figure stayed still until it smiled and whispered, "Do you dream, Doctor?" Then it disappeared, not vanished, evaporated, like breath. I sat back down, I didn't remember how I got there, The recorder blinked red. It had been recording the whole time. I hit play. The tape began. My voice, my questions, silence, but at the end, a fourth voice joined. Louder, older. You breathed in the patient, and now the patient breathes through you. The recorder melted in my hand, and my office lights went black. Location, archive basement. 2 a.m. rain intensifies. Only emergency power. The storm wouldn't let up. Rain lashed against the clinic's roof like a warning, sharp, rhythmic, relentless. I hadn't gone home. I couldn't. Not since I saw myself. Not since that other me whispered from my own chair. I hadn't slept. Instead, I found myself back in the hallway. This time heading toward the archive basement. The part of the clinic no one uses. Where old patient records sit gathering dust. Where staff refuse to enter after dark. Where the lights shone wrong. Tonight, I wanted answers. I wanted to know if Ethan Blackwell even existed. I held my ID badge to the scanner. Nothing. No beep. No click. No light. But the door slid open. Not like a normal slide, but more like a breath being held, and then exhaled. The hallway beyond was pitch black. So I stepped inside. My flashlight fought to stay alive. Its glow pulsed like a weak heartbeat. Dust floated in the air, glittering like ash. The smell hit first: old leather, vinegar, and something sweet. The same scent Ethan had described again and again. Burnt sugar. And something beneath it. Like scalpels soaked in memory. Shelves rose like silent walls, stretching past the light's reach. Each file drawer labeled by hand. I passed names I didn't recognize. Monroe, patient 14. Parker, patient 08. Sloan, patient 22. But when I reached the far end, I stopped. There it was. Blackwell, Ethan, patient 00, patient 0. I pulled open the drawer. It was empty, except for a tape. Old, dusty, marked with a date that didn't make sense. June 3rd, 1972. I wasn't born yet. I slipped the tape into my coat pocket and turned to leave. But the door was gone. There was no exit behind me. Only a solid wall of filing cabinets. And the sound of breathing. Not mine. Not human. Low and rhythmic, like something asleep beneath the floorboards. I held still. The flashlight flickered violently and went out. I was submerged in black. Then came the sound of pages fluttering, drawers opening on their own, whispers crawling from file to file. Then a voice from directly behind me. You should not have read the drawer. I turned. No one. But now, there was a figure at the end of the aisle. It looked like a nurse. Except her uniform had no seams. No buttons. Just smooth fabric. To smooth. She stood motionless. No face, only a vertical line down the center of her head. Breathing. Like a split waiting to open. I'm the doctor, I said aloud. My voice didn't echo. It fell like a rock into deep water. I'm not a patient here. The figure took one step forward. Only one. Then the whisper again. This time inside my skull. You were always in the system. I backed away, but the aisle behind me had changed. Cabinets stacked on top of each other, shapes bulging behind them. The sound of someone chewing inside the metal. And then I saw a folder resting on the ground, opened. Inside, a photo of me. Sitting in my office. Same tie, same pen, same scar near my jaw. Written underneath. Vales, D. File recorded. Subject inversion. Approved. My hands began to shake, but I couldn't drop the folder. My fingers wouldn't let go. Blood started seeping through. The edges of the paper, mine or someone else's. Then the breathing stopped for a moment. The silence was louder than any scream. Then everything started inhaling. Not air, but light. The flashlight, the folder, the file drawers. Being pulled inward toward the dark space where the nurse had been, which was now open. Not a mouth, a corridor. Breathing in, and I stepped through. The space beyond didn't make sense. It was my office, but reversed. Everything backwards. The books unreadable. The diplomas hanging upside down. The air cold on one side of my face, warm on the other. Then a sound. My voice, looping. I'm not a patient here. Not a patient here. Patient here. 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 A chair spun slowly in the center of the room. Facing away, I approached. My breath loud in my ears. The air had the texture of cloth, soft, heavy, suffocating. I touched the chair. It stopped spinning. And I saw him. Ethan. Except he looked younger. No shadows. No trembling fingers. Just calm. Still. His eyes opened. Doctor, he said, did you bring your notes? I nodded, even though I didn't. He raised a hand. In it was my recorder. The red light blinking. Recording. Always recording. You know, what's on here? He asked. I shook my head. He pressed play. And what I heard wasn't my voice, wasn't his, but something else. A chorus of voices layered together, speaking in unison. You entered through a name. You left through your own. Now everything you thought was real is a session. I fell backward. The chair empty. Ethan gone. My ears filled with static. But one phrase repeated, over and over. You are the last patient of Dr. Vales. And then I understood. I wasn't the doctor. I never was. The rain I heard was the sound of tape looping. The ventilator's breath was mine. I screamed, but the sound never left my throat. I was still seated. Still in the chair. And across from me, Dr. Vales sat, watching. Taking notes, scribbling spirals. Then he asked, "How are you feeling today?" And I whispered, "Tired." Location, unknown clinical room. No rain heard. Artificial silence. Circular architecture. I opened my eyes, but I don't remember closing them. I'm seated. Again. Same chair. Same desk. Same sterile light bleeding from a source I can't locate. No rain now. No window. Only silence. And yet, I still hear breathing. But it isn't external. It's coming from inside my ears. A clipboard rests on my lap. The name on it is mine, but the handwriting isn't. It reads, Session 013 Vales. D. Subject appears unaware of current identity inversion. Observation to continue. I look up. The room isn't rectangular. It's circular, seamless, no walls, no exit, no entrance. The air is thick, as though I'm breathing inside someone's lung. I stand. The floor hums beneath me, and far in the distance, though there should be no distance, I see a mirror, not mounted, floating, pulsing faintly, in sync with my heart. I step forward. One step, another, but the mirror doesn't get closer. The sound of a ventilator starts, slow, unsure, then stabilizes. I freeze. I remember now. I was the doctor, but now I'm not. Or maybe I never was. I reach the mirror, finally, inside it. Not my reflection, but Ethan, sitting where I sit, smiling. He mouths something, but the mirror offers no sound, so I read his lips. "You finally arrived." The glass shudders, then breathes out. I'm pulled forward, not physically, but mentally, dragged through memory. I see the office again. But I'm not in it. I'm watching. I see Ethan's sessions. Only now. He's the doctor. And I'm the one in the chair. Talking about doors, corridors, burnt sugar. I whisper, "This isn't possible." The mirror answers, "It's been recording longer than you've existed." I stumble back. The clipboard now reads, Session 999, loop near completion. And the final line written in crimson, "Patient has begun resisting repetition." I scream. It doesn't echo, because I've never left this room. Because this is the room. There never was a clinic, never an office, only the simulation. The structure, the loop. I sit, because I don't know what else to do. The mirror flickers, then becomes clear. This time, I see a new figure, walking toward the chair. Someone younger, tired, holding a recorder. He sits across from me. It's not Ethan. It's someone new. But I know that look. It's me. Before I forgot. Before the switch. He hits record. The light blinks red. He says, "How are you feeling today?" And without thought, I reply, "Tired," and the loop begins again. Only this time, I see it forming. Around the edges of the room, the walls begin to shape. Shelves, books, rain returns. But muffled as if it's trying to remind me I once had a window. My body begins to repeat movements. Hands folding, fingers twitching. I feel words rising in my throat. But they are not mine. They are programmed like reflex, like ritual. Then I hear the final whisper. From nowhere, from everywhere. "You were never a doctor. Daniel, you were our recording. The chair across from me is empty now, but I speak anyway. Tell me more about the corridor. No one answers, but the ventilator does. Hiss, pause, hiss. Then the light in the room blinks once, only once, then turns red dot, and I finally understand. This isn't therapy. This is a device, a mechanism designed to feed on relief, a place that grows stronger with every repetition. And I'm the seed, the ghost, the patient that never existed, until you pressed play. But this time, something shifts. The mirror cracks. Hairline fractures spreading outward slowly. From the center, a new reflection appears. It's not Ethan. It's not me. It's you, the observer, the listener, the final variable. And the walls breathe out one word. Welcome. Suddenly, I see layers unravel. Other loops. Other versions, a gallery of false sessions, false doctors, false names, each one thinking they were real, each one ending the same way, a chair, a whisper, a switch. I see Ethan's file open by itself. Now it reads, observer reassigned, active host. I try to move, I try to speak, but the session begins again. Red light, breath. Rain returns louder. You're not the doctor, the voice says. You're the echo. And the real question is not whether this story ends. It's whether you ever started it. So ask yourself, now, where are you sitting? Are you alone? Is it raining? Is your screen flickering? Or have you already taken the chair? The room fades, and with it, your memory of the beginning. The only thing that remains is your voice, saying, how are you feeling today? Story 2. The Sleep Clinic's Night Shift. Location, North Building Sleep Wing. 3:14 a.m. Rain on windows, dim red exit signs, mild antiseptic scent. I start my shift at midnight, but the clinic never feels truly awake, not even during the day. Here, everything is quiet by design to quiet. The halls are lined with soft panels that swallow footfalls. The doors don't creak. The light is always low. Even the machines whisper. I'm a nurse here, 3rd year. Night shift. My badge says Clara. No one ever calls me that. They just press the call button. Or they scream. Only it's not always a real scream. Not one you hear with your ears. The rain tonight is steady tapping against the sleep wing windows like polite fingers. We have 22 rooms in this building, all of them full, all of them occupied by sleepers, volunteers, people with disorders, insomniacs. Some here because they were court-ordered, some because they stopped dreaming. I walk the hall with my tablet, checking vitals from outside each room. Room 108, steady pulse, stable breath rate. Room 112, shallow respiration, mild eye flutter. Room 117, I pause. The monitor shows a slight rise in theta activity, and then a spike sharp like panic. But the man inside Mr. Hadley is lying still, breathing slow. His lips are moving, but they're not forming words. They're forming shapes. I step closer to the window. The clinic uses one-way glass in all the doors. Behind it, Mr. Hadley twists. but gently for the data is. Brain is sending. I check the feed on my tablet. The live video from the ceiling camera shows something else. A shadow. Not cast. Not moving. Just coiling. Over his chest. Near his throat. Like a hand without fingers. I blink hard. The screen glitches. When it returns, he's still. No shadow. But now, there are marks around his neck. I look again through the window. His skin is clear. No redness. No pressure. Only the tablet saw it. I take a breath and keep moving. Room 120. Female, 40s. Night terrors. Sedated. Still. Room 122. Child. Night monitor off. Family request. Room 124. Empty. Room 125. I stop again. My feet won't move. Because the camera feed is gone. Just static. I tap, refresh, reset. Nothing. I open the admin app. Video logs say the last footage was recorded 4 minutes ago, then deleted. Auto-flagged. Corrupted anomaly. No reason. No alert. Just gone. I make a note to report it. But I won't. Because I've done that before. And the next morning, someone in corporate logs in remotely deletes the ticket. Deletes the backup. Deletes my note. I stand in the hallway and close my eyes just for a second. That's when I hear it. A scream. Not out loud. Inside. Inside my ears. A pressure like someone shoving sound into my brain from behind. I grab the wall to stay upright. A light above room 117 flickers. And inside, Mr. Hadley is sitting up. Eyes closed. Back perfectly straight. And he's smiling. I turn to the nurse station. No alarms triggered. I press the intercom. Mr. Hadley, can you hear me? He doesn't respond, but his head turns toward the camera. He opens his mouth, and nothing comes out. But my tablet starts vibrating. A private message appears. They scream inside their skin. I drop the tablet. The floor swallows the sound. I return to room 117. His vitals are back to baseline. He's asleep. The smile is gone. But something else is there now. On the window. A HANDPRINT. From the inside. But it's on the outside of the glass. I wipe the window. There's nothing on the glass. Not from the inside. Not from the outside. But I felt the pressure of the hand. Like it had weight. Like it lingered a second. Too long. Like it wanted to be noticed. I return to the nurse's station and sit down. The screens flicker. Camera feeds cycle through in silence. Grey rooms. Peaceful faces. Breathing masks. 4 lines. Empty corners. But the corners feel wrong tonight. To dark. Like they're breathing. At 3:42 a.m., I log into the restricted dashboard. It's only meant for supervisors, but I've learned the codes. Buried beneath the interface is a folder marked repeaters. These are patients who have had anomalous sleep loops, meaning they don't actually wake up, but they move, they speak, they work, they even check out of the clinic sometimes, only to come back, still asleep. I open the latest entry. Mr. Hadley is there. 3 separate stays. Each time, same brain pattern, same nightmares, same shadow signature in video logs. Each time, his memory resets to the first visit. He thinks it's his first night here. Every time I click on the embedded video, the footage is warped. Not distorted, just too smooth. The movement of his body is off by milliseconds, like someone impersonating sleep. In the clip, he rises from bed at 3:19 a.m. He stands beside the camera and smiles at it. He reaches up and presses his face against the lens. Then, everything goes black. The footage is only 12 seconds, but I feel like I watched it for 10 minutes. I lean back. The rain gets heavier. It sounds slower now, like it's not falling, but climbing up the window glass instead. A low rumble passes through the floor, like thunder beneath the tile. I walk back toward room 117, tablet in hand. But when I arrive, the door is open. We never leave patient doors open. Not in the sleep. When even the staff override requires two-factor input. But here it is, wide open, darkness inside, and the machine is gone. The sleep monitor completely unplugged. The 4-line draped over the side of the bed like shed skin. Mr. Hadley? No answer. I step in. Slow. 1 foot at a time. I feel it before I hear it. A vibration coming from the floor. Like something below is pulsing, calling. The mattress is cold. The wall is damp. The scent in the air, faintly sweet, but stale. Like the inside of a freezer that once held something alive. I step back out of the room. Down the hallway, the exit signs begin blinking. Then the hallway stretches. Literally stretches. The far door pulls back visually like I'm standing at the end of a telescope. The overhead lights hum louder. Then flicker. A whisper moves past my ear, so fast I almost don't register it. But the tablet vibrates again. Another message appears anonymous. If they wake up all the way, they break. I run back to the station. My breath is shallow. My chest hurts. I type an emergency override command. A full system scan. Each room begins lighting up with data. Red pulses, blue streaks. Brain activity across the board is rising way past REM. It looks like seizures, but no one is moving. No one is screaming, not with their mouths. I access the audio archives. They should be empty. No vocalizations recorded in the last 6 hours. But the waveform is full. Thick blocks of white noise. Saturated. Distorted. But hidden inside. I hear it. Breath. Strained. Pressured. Forced through lungs that aren't trying to breathe. And beneath that, cracking. Like bones shifting inside a dream. I isolate. Room 117. Playback starts. Nothing for the first 10 seconds. Then a voice, my voice, on the recording, saying they see us watching them now. I slam the tablet shut. And then all the doors open at once. No sound, just motion. 22 doors slowly sliding inward. Each room black inside. No patients visible. But every monitor flatlines in sync. Every camera feed crashes, except one. Room 117. The door is open. But the feed shows it closed. And sitting in the chair inside is me. Not asleep. Not blinking. Just watching. Smiling. I back away from the monitor. A line of text begins typing on its own. Welcome back, Clara. We've missed you. Then everything powers down. Total blackout. Only the sound of rain. Rising. Climbing. Pressing against the windows from the inside. In the dark, I feel someone pass behind me. Not brush. Not touch. Pass. Like a pulse of heat through air. And I hear my own voice say, "You'll wake up where we put you." Then silence. Location, East Wing Monitoring Bay. 4:03 a.m. No power. Emergency lights. Rain is now internal. I haven't moved in 10 minutes. I know this because the emergency clock above the hallway hasn't changed. Stuck at 4:03 a.m. frozen. But the rain is still falling, only now. It's inside. I can hear it dripping behind the ceiling tiles. The floor beneath me is cold to cold for a clinic with heating. My tablet is dead. The monitor is dead. All doors are open, but every room feels sealed. There's no airflow. No sound. Just a pressure in the air, like the world is holding its breath. I force myself to move. 1 foot, then the other. I walk past the rooms again, each one darker than the last. Room 110, empty bed. No monitor, but a smell like iron and old paper. Room 112, patient still. Visible, but blurred, literally blurred, as if light refuses to touch her face. Room 115, gone. Bed stripped, pillows placed back perfectly, but the outline of a person is burned into the wall behind it. Faint, like shadow baked into concrete. I find my voice. Hello? No echo. I check the desk. Manual backup generator, missing. Security key, melted. The whole plastic card, soft and curling inward, like it's trying to hide itself. Then a chime. One beep. A room calling me. Room 129. But that's impossible. Room 129 isn't real. Our wing ends at 125. I follow the beep anyway. My body doesn't ask permission. I walk past the last known door. Then there's more hallway, where it shouldn't be, where there shouldn't be space. I stop in front of a black door. Unlabeled. Slick with condensation. No handle, only a retinal scanner. It blinks green before I even lean in. And the door slides open sideways, like a gill parting. The room is not empty. It's full of beds. Dozens. Each one with a sleeper. Each sleeper breathing. But the monitors say dead. Flatline. All of them. There's no ceiling. Only darkness above. And above that, distant, like thunder. I hear laughter. Dry, hollow, repeating. I turn to leave, but the door is gone. I walk down a narrow row of beds. Some patients are twitching. Some are whispering into their own hands. Some are crying without tears. And all of them have their mouths closed. Tightly. Like someone sealed them shut. A voice echoes inside my skull, a familiar one. Male, slow, almost kind. You shouldn't have opened this room. I try to speak, but no sound comes out. My mouth moves, but no air. Only vibration. As if I'm underwater. One of the sleepers opens her eyes, but they don't blink. They just widen and widen until the eyes take up her entire face. She starts to sit up, but not upward. She rises sideways, folding space around her. Her knees bend in reverse. Her fingers stretch toward the ceiling that isn't there. She stares at me without. Seeing me, then mouths a sentence. I don't hear it. I understand it. You're the last one awake. I fall, not fainting, falling. The floor opens, or maybe I sink through it. The room stretches again. The beds move like conveyor belts, and the light shifts to red. I land, not hard, not soft, just placed back in the monitoring bay. But something's different. The windows now face the wrong direction, and outside, no rain, only darkness. Moving darkness, like shadows pacing each other. The tablet is back in my lap, charged. One new file. Patient Clara. Sleep loop initiated. A mirror appears on the wall, my reflection is watching me. She holds her own tablet. She smiles. She types, and on my screen appears. We don't wake them fully anymore. You asked us to stop. I step toward the mirror, but my reflection doesn't match me. Her eyes blink slower. Her breath fogs the glass, but mine doesn't. And then she opens her mouth, and rain pours out. No lights, no sounds, just the hum of a power source beneath the floor. I wake up seated again, but no one woke me. The room is white, but not painted. It glows like bone, like teeth, and the ceiling pulses softly, like it's breathing with me. There's no window, no door, no obvious exit. Only a chair across from me empty. But I feel watched. I look down. There's a folder on my lap. Inside, a form. Name, Clara A. Status, pre-waking test. Repetition protocol CO7 sleep cycle integrity, 40% below that. One red sentence, subject exhibits memory retention within the loop. I blink, and the lights overhead begin to dim. Then brighten, then dim again. Like breath, like warning. My heart doesn't race, but I feel my body resisting this place. The soles of my feet sting. The back of my neck burns. I try to speak, but my voice doesn't exist here. Only thoughts and pressure. A tone chimes from nowhere. Not mechanical, not human. Just a note. Low. Constant. Echoing inside my rib cage. The folder vanishes, replaced by a tray. On the tray, a headset. Black wireframe, ancient. Like something dug up, not built. I hear something breathing behind me. But when I turn, nothing. Only wall. My hands lift without command. They place the headset on my skull. The cold metal wraps around me. Like memory. Like regret. Then static. Then silence. Then I'm back in the clinic. Only it isn't real. I know this. Because everyone in the hallway is frozen. Perfectly. Mid-stride. Mid-breath. One. Nurse pouring coffee. Still. Steam paused. Mid-air. Another patient blinking. But the eyelids never finish closing. I walk past them. They don't notice. They don't move. In room 117, Mr. Hadley is gone. But his shadow remains, like a burnt mark on the bedding. Like his outline is what's left when memory melts. Then the alarms begin. Soft. Internal. Like heartbeat warnings. I look at the ceiling. Above every room. A timer, counting backward. I run to the nurse's station, but the screens are blank. Only one shows data. Subject Clara. Cycle limit breach. Memory resistance detected. Admin override required. A voice floods the speakers. Smooth. Familiar. Let her feel the end. Let her burn it in. I scream, but only in the loop. Only in my head. The real me. Still seated. Still wearing the headset. Still dreaming this. Then I hear it again. Rain. But not on glass. On skin. My own. From the inside. Dripping in. Soaking me. From lungs to nerves. A final message appears on the screen. This is the last loop. After this, she either wakes or she stays. Then the walls peel back, revealing the mirror. And in it me. But not me. Another Clara. Still. Eyes wide. Mouth closed. Smiling. And behind her a room full of others. All with my face. All waiting. All looping. And I realize I was never awake. I was only closer than the rest. And now I'm just one more sleeper in the clinic that no one remembers building. I wake to the sound of a door unlocking. But there are no doors, only the illusion of them. The world around me vibrates not with sound, but with memory, like someone is rewinding a dream while I'm still inside it. The walls ripple with static. The air smells like warm plastic and bleach. And rain, but not falling from clouds. Rain that lives inside the clinic's walls now. It taps against nothing. It never stops. I am Clara, I think. But the file says otherwise. Subject 1 to be. Clone cycle. For base identity. Clara a retired loop role. Continuity anchor. There's a desk in front of me. On it a recorder. Blinking red. Already recording. No play. No pause. No stop. Only red. And behind me. Chairs. 22 of them, all occupied, sleepers, each with a face I almost recognize, faces that blur the longer I stare, each one still, each one smiling. A monitor lights up, text scrolls automatically. You've reached the final sequence, Clara. Congratulations. Your retention is above 90%. Your resistance qualifies. But we need your choice now. What choice? Another line. Wake up and forget. Or stay and guide. The room begins to pulse like a giant lung beneath the floor. The sleepers begin to murmur. Not aloud, but in the frequency between silence and noise. I feel it more than hear it. Each voice saying the same phrase. You never left. I step forward, but the floor gives way. I descend, not through space, through layers of myself. I fall through rooms I've walked, hallways I've forgotten, chairs I've cleaned, beds I've changed. Every act repeats, looping around me like memory on film. Then I see her, me, in the first week of work, clipboard in hand, still hopeful, still whole. I try to reach her, but she walks past me and fades when I land. I'm in a room I don't recognize, except I do. It's room 0. The room they say doesn't exist. The air here is still, thick, old, like it remembers too much. And on the bed, someone waits. Not a patient, not a sleeper, a reflection of me. She sits up and she smiles. But her eyes are hollow, like glass waiting to crack. She speaks. I don't. You've seen enough to choose. Behind her, a wall of screens blinks on, each one showing a different Clara. Different shifts, different loops. Each one ended the same. Each one forgotten. But not this one. Not mine. I turn to the screens. I place my hand on the recorder. The light turns blue. A symbol appears. Infinity. Then the reflection speaks again. Stay and watch them. You'll be the one who remembers. And I say without breath, I accept. The rain stops. The sleepers vanish. The clinic resets. And somewhere upstairs, a new nurse clocks in. Her name is Clara. Her badge is new. Her face is familiar. And deep below, in sublevel E, a room lights up. A recorder blinks. And the final message plays. The shift never ends. Story 3. Lighthouse Keeper's Final Log. Location: Wreckhead Lighthouse, Northern Coast. 11:03 p.m. Storm level building. Foghorn active. Rain intermittent. The first time I saw the ship, I thought it was a trick of the fog. That was 3 storms ago. No. For I sit now in the keeper's room, writing with a lantern to my left, and the sea breathing outside the glass. It's not quiet, but it's patient. The fog presses against the windows like a thing trying to remember how to get in. This is log entry number 111. Weather: high winds from the east, visibility poor, rain off and on, fog dense, temperature dropping, barometer nervous. There's no real reason to keep the logs anymore. No one reads them. But I still write. Habit or defiance. Because if I stop, I'm no longer the keeper. And if I'm not the keeper, then who has been lighting the beacon? The sea groans against the rocks. That sound, it's always been with me. But tonight it's different. Slower. Rhythmic. Like breath. I go up to the lantern room every hour. Check the oil. Clean the glass. Mark the direction of the beam I used to call it the eye. Now it feels like the last eye open in a world gone to sleep. Just now, the wind shifted. It brings something new. A smell. Salt. Yes. But beneath it's something older. Like wet rope and iron that's been left too long in teeth. I walk the spiral stairs. They creak beneath my boots. 1 full turn. 2. 3. The glass is fogged again, but only from the outside. The sea wind shouldn't reach this high. And yet, there are prints. Faint. Finger dash width. As though someone stood there and breathed. Back down. I put tea on. Not because I want it. Because I need to hear something in the room besides breath. On the 3rd shelf above the stove is the old logbook. Leather cracked. Pages stiff. Dates from before I was born. I open it. It falls to a page marked in red. Storm entry, October 3rd, 1948. A light on the water, but no source. It passed directly beneath the cliff. We heard voices. We saw none. I close the book, but I hear Them now dot not voices dot chimes dot small metal ones. We don't have chimes, and the wind has stopped. I go outside, lantern in hand, coat pulled high dot rain soft now. But the fog it moves, not like air, not like mist, like fabric dragged across gravel. Down the slope, toward the rocks there it is again. That shape, outline of a bow. 3 masts, torn, sails that catch no wind dot, but it floats dot high dot to high dot above the surf. I raise the light. I don't expect a signal in return, but one comes, to blinks, one pause, 3 blinks, Morse dot old code, HELP. My legs move before I think dot down the ridge, past the anchor post, boots deep in SALTGRASS dot. But when I reach the edge dash nothing dot no ship dot no light. Only black water dot only waves dot and then a bell. But not from the tower dot from beneath the shore. Like metal drifting up through sand. Like something buried, ringing for someone to dig. I back away, carefully, but the light in the lantern flickers once. Then glows brighter dot as if pulled by something dot as if it wants to be seen. I return inside dot wet dot cold. And now, not alone dot because on the logbook open again on the desk there is a wet handprint. Not mine dot to long dot to thin dot and facing the wrong direction. Like someone leaned from behind me, hand pressing toward the pages. This is still log entry number 211. But I've stopped writing weather. I now write positions dot where the sea shifts dot where the gulls vanish, where the fog holds shape to long, where the light doesn't reach. The ship comes every storm now dot always the same distance offshore dot always half seen, never closer. Until last week, then I heard them. Steps on the gravel dot not boots. Not shoes dot bare dot soft dot heavy dot, and then the knock. 3 times dot at the door to the London stair. I opened it dot no one there dot only footprints. Too deep for human dot to wet to be from land. I haven't slept since. The beacon still turns dot, and sometimes I hear it respond. The sea has begun to blink back. I started leaving the lamp lit longer than regulation. Hours after the fog rolls inland. Long after the last ship signal disappears. Why? Because I know they're still watching. Last night, the flame turned itself off. I didn't touch it. I didn't even hear the mechanism. It just stopped. But the beam still swept, as if something else kept it moving. The next morning, I climbed to the lens chamber. No oil burned. No wick singed. No heat. But the glass was warm. Not sun warm. Breath warm. And on the railing around the tower salt, thick lines of it, drawn in a spiral, a symbol I don't recognize. Or maybe I do. Maybe. I've just forgotten. Tonight's storm is worse than the others. The fog doesn't move now. It just thickens, becomes weight. I opened the eastern hatch earlier just to feel air and heard nothing. No wind. No surf. Just a low tone. Like a throat clearing in the earth. The radio crackled once at 11:08 p.m. I scrambled to it. But all I heard was breathing. Steady. Measured. Until it stopped mid-inhale. I didn't sleep. I haven't slept in days. But I blink dot, and the desk changes dot. My tea is gone dot. My logbook is open again. But the ink is still wet, written by someone else. The sea has eyes. You lit one of them. I can't deny it anymore. This isn't weather. This isn't hallucination. It's rehearsed. Every storm, every footstep, every signal. They follow a pattern, a loop. But it's tightening at 2:40 a.m. I hear chains, dragging metal. From the rocks dot, I step outside again. The lantern flares as if angry, and I feel it movement in the fognet steps this time shaped or not ship not man. A form that glides above the water, just out of reach, and below it a reflection that doesn't match. When I return inside, I find the radio off the hook dot. It hisses with static, but layered under it, barely there. A knock dot soft dot repeating dot rhythmic dot 3 beats. Then 2, then 1, then 3 again. I realize it's the same knock from the door, from the stairs, from the ship's signal dot Morse. INSIDE. I want to scream, but I don't, because I understand now. They've never been at sea. They've never left. The ship is the warning, not the arrival. The echo of something already ashore. And I am the last post lit. The last eye open. The last place the fog has not yet taken. But tonight, I heard footsteps on the top stair dot, not below dot, above dot. The tower has no floor above the lamp room. No steps beyond the lens. And yet, there they were, crunching glass, dragging salt. And then the handle turned. But nothing entered, because nothing had to. Something was already here. If anyone reads this dot, if this journal survives dot, know that the light stayed on as long as I did. That I climbed those stairs every hour. That I never left my post, even when the fog reached the hearth, even when it knocked from within the glass. There will be another keeper. There always is, and they'll be told it's a storm post, that it's quiet, that it's lonely, but they won't tell them about the ship, about the prince, about the knock dot. I leave this entry unfinished intentionally, because the shift never really ends. It only passes hands, and I hear them now on the shore. They are walking, they are close, they are knocking. I didn't write this entry, but it's here. Page dated dot, weather noted, initials mine. And at the bottom, just above the signature, they knocked. You opened. I stare at the ink. It hasn't dried yet, even though the page is curled like it's been here for days. The oil lamp sputters low. I refill it. Though the oil can was empty yesterday dot, the flame doesn't wait for the match dot, it catches. On its own, outside, the sky is still dark, but the sea is stiller than I've ever seen it. Not calm flat dot, dead quiet. Not a bird, not a wave, not a gust, not even a sway in the grass dot. The fog is gone. And I should feel relief, but instead I feel watched. I check the beacon. It's off. I didn't turn it off, but the lens still rotates dot, no light. Just the sound of it spinning dot at the top of the tower. There's writing now, scratched into the metal base of the beacon drum. He left it open. I descend, not rushed, not afraid, not yet, because I want to believe I'm still alone dot in the kitchen. The kettle is whizzing, but it isn't on the stove dot, it's on the table. Steam rising, bubbling, Sound less. I touch it. Cold. Then it whistles louder. I back away, and behind me, a drawer opens. On its own, inside, my old journal. The one I burned 10 years ago. Every page intact. And on the last, a face drawn in charcoal. It's not mine, but it's wearing my expression. Eyes wide, mouth open. No scream, only breath. I turn the page. A map. Of the lighthouse. But wrong. It shows a level below the foundation. No stairs. Just a line that says, "This is where they wait." I gear up. Lantern. Boots. The long coat. I pull the keyring from the walls. Every key accounted for, except one. The heavy brass one. It's gone. But when I check my pocket, it's already there. I step outside. The grass is wet, but not from rain, from condensation rising. The earth is sweating, and the air tastes like iron again. I follow the side path toward the generator hatch. But the hatch is open, the padlock hanging loose, unbroken. Not forced. Unlocked. I descend the steps below the lighthouse. The air here is wrong. Still. But pressurized. Like something huge has been waiting to exhale. At the end of the tunnel is a rusted door. It has no handle, only a small slit in the center for light. I lift the lantern. Peer through. Beyond it, a spiral staircase descending into fog. Fog with no source. No motion. No origin. It just is. I push the door. It opens with a whisper. The metal groans like it remembers me. I begin the descent. One step. Another. The echo doesn't follow me, but it precedes me. Each step lands with silence, then echoes before I take the next one. At the base, a chamber. Circular. Stone. Seawater drips from above. But there's no opening. No ceiling. Only black. And the walls breathe. Yes, breathe high now softly. In the center, a table. Black glass and iron object trapped in netting thin rope. So tingy unwrap it slowly in cedar velvet. Not like any ship bell smooth. No clapper, no writing bit. As I lift it, it chimes and with it moving. I drop it, but it doesn't fully floats there above the tablekimming slaughter in my join. My spinient around me. A voice begins slowladen, speaking naming gone by one each name, is mina variation shift lists, 100 versions of myself echoing through water. Then the air pulses, fog inside the chamber thickens and the door closes. I don't panic, Beckhouse, I know this is part of it, final part, final test invitation. On the wall opposite a message freshly etched dripping black. They remember your face, you showed them. Right now they show you theirs. I feel it in the soles of my boots, first vibration then heathen breath. From the table rises a shape human bit longer as if grown from sea-stretched timite, has no icy light. Where eyes should beamed in its hand missing journal it opens, it points and I see my own words written from a date that hasn't happened yet. They're on the shore now. Closer. Double quotes. The shape speaks. Without sound, but I understand you are the keeper. You hold the line. Then black total no sound no timely, driftingly, coldenly the memory of light. I wake again. In the keeper's chest and light outside, mild breeze, ernal open fresh tea steaming beside, may no storm no fog, and on the desk, a seashell perfectly lists wet inside it. If I hold it just right, I hear the fog hornet. It's not us, it's Bellawand, it's calling. I didn't climb the stairs tonight. but I'm here standing in the lantern room. The beacon is turning, the light is on, and I'm holding the key, the heavy brass one, in my hand, but I locked it downstairs, I'm sure of it. There's a sound I haven't heard in a long time. Glass tightening, a slow pressure building in the lenses if the structure remembers being filled with breath instead of oil. The journal is already open on the desk behind me. Fresh ink entry started in me. I haven't written a word, but the heading reads, Log number 214, repetition event identified. A fog line hovers just offshore. Perfectly still, not rolling, not natural, it's shaped like a spine. Vertebrae of mist, and something within it shifts, not walks, not sails, shifts. I try the signal lamp. 3 flashes, a long pauseth, and only a moment later, the fog answers it with light, but with silence. Too much silence, like something swallowed the wind in a response. 3 knocks, but they don't come from the fog. They come from inside the tower. Below me, somewhere near the oil tanks. I go down. Every floor dim, every step damp. The stairs feel like breath war moving. Alleviate the base. The tool cabinet is open. The bell is gunningly, a note remains. He listens now. On the wall beside the fuse box, someone has drawn a circle in ash. It's precise, mathematical, but inside it a pattern I remember, the same salt spiral that appeared after the 3rd storm. Only now, it's burned into the concrete. I hear the radio again. Static. Then, my voice, but not from earlier. From later, they've come up the stairs. And I can't stop them, I turn it off, but the echo remains. Repeating. Low. Like memory caught in replay, I ascend again. To the lantern room. The glass is clearer now. The sea visible. Still no movement. No birds, but the fog spine is closer. Each vertebra thickened, the lens is slowing. Not mechanically, emotionally, like it's hesitating, resisting. Then the light halts. The beam points inland and stays there. Our reflection appears in the glass. Not mine, not human, but familiar, and it whispers inside the lens. You are the keeper because you never leave. Then everything begins to rewind. Pages flutter backwards. Light spirals counterclockwise. The sea pulls away. The fog recoils. Sand, I know. This night has happened before. And I watched it, every detail, every step, every knockbit tonight. Something changed. Reflection in the lens smiled and blinked. There is no entry number this time. No date. No weather, no test, because the journal is gone. And the desk is no longer wood. It is stone salt bleached. Ancient, etched with grooves from hands that no longer exist. Beacon no longer spins. But the light is still here, suspended in air above the tower, a soft, pulsier, breathing thing. I stand at the threshold of something older than structure, older than storm, older than Keyhurst. Stairs below spiral deeper, now deeper than they ever have downward. Into mist, and I descend. Each step is softer than the last until I no longer hear the mantle. I no longer feel the mantle. I no longer know if I'm moving. The walls begin to widen, not physically but perceptual, like memory remembering more space than was truly there. A past objects. Unanchored flow at terrace stintlies on your stursels swirling together in slow orbit. Finalia chamber, not round, not square, just Shaped like a thought-given format, its center a door floating. Standing upright on nothing wooden stone, it breathes sand, it listens and behind it. The ocean not above and not below within, I approach. Door has no handle, but it watches minute with ice with recognition only raise my hand. Door exhales mist. Coils around my palm, low tone hums in my joy knock and set which at times the same pattern always. The Sabbath. Door opens but only inward and I see. Water black stillentons filled with light countless beams from countless lighthouses. All shining down into it not from above but from its depth. I step froth sea accepts minute wet not cold just weightless and awake because this was never about storms, never about beacons, never about isolation. It was about memorized kind that exists without time, without Namath kind passed from keeper to keeper. Not as warning but as doorway I floaty bread hand I see them. The other hundreds may moriac inside their own tower each, holding a journal each repeating the ninth. Noct blingth belsome are still afraid some have forgotten some. Have become the lighthouse itself but all of us. Remember, a voice finds may no sound just sense thank you for watching. It is your turn to blink. And I wake not in the tower, but as the tower me light spins again, but now it shines into the skynet for ships. Not for storms, but for dreamers, for sleepers, for the next keeper for you. Story for Drowning Bride's Lullaby. Location, Black Vale Lake. Southeastern shoreline, 12:04 a.m. Full moon overhead. Mild mist rising from surface. Wind. Still the lake doesn't move tonight. It watches the mist curls low, hugging the reeds like breath returned from the dead. There are no frogs, no owls, no sound, except the occasional drip from the broken pier where I now sit. They say Black Vale Lake sings once a monthly when the moon is perfectly, when no one speaks for at least a minutely, when someone nearby is promised to someone else. I shouldn't be here, but my sister is going and her shoes are still on the dock, her veil still wrapped around the handrail, and when I lifted it, it was wet, still dripping. It's been 3 weeks since Lisa vanished, 3 weeks since her voice was last heard humming from our bedroom window, soft and cracked from crying. She had just gotten engaged. It wasn't even a week oldie. Remember the ringer, cheap thing, thin, fragile, and to loose on her finger it floated in the sink the morning she disappeared. I tried telling people it was the lake, but the town doesn't speak of that anymore. Not since the drownings stopped being random, since they became patterned. Full moons for Malinga glass at night always when no one was watching, dimly traces ever left. Wet footprints and music, not music from a radio, not from any throat, just a few high notes. Like a lullaby played through glass and breath. I sit on the broken dock. No feet over the edgy shouldn't be habit. I brought the veil back and the silence with it. The moon crests higher, the mist thickens me, watch ticks, once then stops, and in the water a ripple bit. Not from fish, from something surfacing just far enough to notice. I don't move and breathe because I feel it, the sound not hard, not in the ears, but inside the chest, inside the teeth, like wind whizzing through a skull, like a voice from under the tongue when it hums low, slow, female. A lullaby. It's real. I wake up lying on the sandy, don't remember falling asleep, but my clothes are drying. My skin tastes like salt and the veil. Is gone. I crawl up the bank and find a mark drawn in mud on the back of my hand, a spiral pressed into my skin, not inked, chaped from fingers that weren't mine. The next day, I return with a recorder, just sound no lighty wait until midnight again, humming this time bit. When I play back the tape the next morning, there's breathing soft and a humless sorrow-fueled Juliet. Beneath it, bubbles, someone gasping it, drowning, descending, I take the recording to Professor Holden. He's retired now, but he once led the team that surveyed Black Vale in the late 90s. He listens once just on 7, says, that song isn't calling to people, it's remembering them. I ask him what that means, doesn't answer, walks into the back room and brings out a weathered file marked Echo Harmonics. Subject, Black Vale. Inside photos does soft dresses float in Gadare. White, some yellowed, some torn in ribbons, but all bridal and all wrapped in hair. Professor Holden says the lake was colder in 1990, for they brought in diverse Canarson Fishno, Bonesno Rexonly, cloth fabric tangled in underwater reed sounds. Sometimes they heard humming on the sonar feed back of an. When the equipment was turned off, that was the year they stopped diving. Fear the lead diver, Renaissal, went missing for 4 hours, came back barefoot, soaked in speaking, with her hand wrapped around her own braid as if someone had tried to pull her back. Resigned a week later, moved inland. They say she never married. I ask the professor where the lake liege, says nowhere, but his voice cracks and his knuckles are white. I go back to the Docolonino Recordero, question choose the ring Lisa left behind, drop it into the water, and the water sings back 3 notes, then silence. I start to walk away, but hear a 4th note, then a 5th hand. When I look over my shoulder, a figure on the surface wearing white, no face, hair floating upward, like drowning in reverse. I run, but the song follows. Back in my room, I find the mirror fogged, but the window is open and the fog is inside the glass. Not behind it, wipe it once, but the fog returned shaped like a veil. I don't sleep, from doesn't stubbornly shifts between walls like breath moving through the bones of the housey, and in that moment, I know the truth. Lisa didn't jump, was taken up by a ghost, not by water, but by something that sings memory back into the body, something that waits, that listens, that chooses. And I'm next because I brought the veil back, because I dropped the ring, because I listened. And now the song won't forget me. I waited a week, told myself, I imagine it told myself trauma. Sounds like music when you're not sleeping, but the hum is still here. Even now, in daylight. I hear it from the trees, from the drain, from the space behind my head when I close my eyes. So I went back to the lake this time. I walked the opposite bank, no footprints. Just tall grass, but halfway around I found a cherub splinterets. Inches from the shoreline and on it a bouquet. The flowers were dead, not wilted, preserved as if kept underwater for years, wrapped in lacend. Inside the lacer bone come by vory crack with strands of hair still woven between the teeth. I didn't take it, he touched it once. And the lake movedly, onchingly, slightly, but enough to see it wasn't empty. Just below the surface, a hand, not rearchanged, resting palms uppermost, offering. I ran. But something followed it in footstep, not in sound, but in weight there behind me, bent, pressed, pulled. By the time I got home, my reflection in the mirror wasn't wet, but the glass was from inside. I visited the town archives, looked for patents in history, most papers lost in the fire from 71. But there were whispers, handwritten letter centuries from parents, sisters, flex. Said the same thing. She was humming before she went missing. She tied the laces tighter, she smiled. When the wind blew in ... every account ended with one phrase. We should have known. She heard the lullaby ... in a sealed box. I found Photostovers near the lake edge and photo dated 1999, a teen pulling something long and white from the weed's caption smudged. But one word clear. Bride ... another photo, different date, same lake, same angle, but the object had changed, still white, still long, but now it had arms and fingers. The diver holding it is smiling with the eyes. Why deemed I like she forgot what she pulled up ... She disappeared 3 months later. Tonight, I return again at alone, bring a bag, a white ribbon, a silver bell and my grandmother's wedding dress folded. Never worn ... The wind is soft but wrong, it moves without rustling like breath too far from a body. I place the items on the shore owned by one flake, does not respond at first. Then a ripple not at the edge but at the center and rising from it. A veil pure white floating inches above the water, no body, no anchor, just fabric ... rising ... I hear the lullaby again, but it's clearer this time. Layered multiple voice, different women sing in sequence and it's overlap and down between. The verse is breathing, louder still singing. I press record on my phone but it doesn't work, the screen fogs then. Cracks ... not shatter edges. Sliced as if something pressed gently from inside. I stay until the moon shifts and the veil drifts back down, not sinking. Being pulled be something beneath something that sighs, something that remembers how to weep ... as I leave a voice follow soft not. Calling through meadow, someone else setter, someone not yet here. I begin to dream again and in my dreams the lake hums back but now. I see them underneath and floating, not dead, just waiting in circles in bridal, we're smiling but never blinking ... and each time I wake my pillow is dampened, my hair is braided tightly as if by someone else's hand. Tomorrow I go back with a diverge, says she's unafraid but her fingers shake when I show her the recordings. She asks me what happens if she finds something. She tell her don't bring it upon the list and never speak, just hum back ... She dives. At midnight, no rope, no light, just a suit and an earpiece, say wait breathless at the edge, a quarter on. For minutes past then no bubbless, no sound than the lullaby soft muffled. The earpiece seemed layered under it. My diver humming back, not in fear and since in harmony. She doesn't surface but her line floats back upbeat to it. A braid wrapped in ribbon still warm. I don't cry because I understand now. The lake doesn't kill, it collects and sings to remind us they're not lost, they are becoming. And it wants more voices. And next month it will sing again, and this time I will answer I didn't plan to wear the dress, but it was in my hands. Folded. Pressed. Waiting. And when I touched it, it was warm, not like fabric, like skin left in sunlight, so I wore it alone, no mirror, no ceremonially fog, and the sound of breath that wasn't mine. The lake doesn't sing every night, but it remembers who listened, and tonight it remembers me. I walk barefoot, white silk dragging over cold grass. The ribbon from my sister's veil tied around my wrist, it pulls gently, not toward the dock, not toward the water, but toward the trees, and I follow because the lullaby doesn't always come from below. Sometimes it walks through the woods. The wind bends unnaturally, not round trees, but through them. Like cloth pulled through stone, there are lanterns here, nose more one chung high flickering without. Flaming beneath them footprints, not fresh but deep each. one filled with water. They lead me to a clearing, and in that clearing, a table on set for 20 trono chairs, just standing, dresses some torn, some spotless, some still wettle, facing the lake, all listening. No one speaks, not even the wine, but then a soft rustle like satin sliding off skin, and the table shifts slowly toward the shoreline. Wheels, no sound, just moti only follow, barely breathing. Me dress feels heavy and it's soaked anchor at a hem gathers silt. The veil begins to hum. The water receives us without splash, without resistance. The table slides beneath the surface, dresses still upright, still silent, still watching. Do not enter the lacketh lake, enters me through the breath, through the bones, through memayand. Beneath I see them ones from before, floating like tillis, dresses still humming. Each one holds a bouquet. The flowers are not wealthy, are made of teat, half shells off wedding bands. Each one looks at Menet to want a welcome. I am led to the circular stone platform, buries me older than the lake itself, and there, waiting, is the Bridinet, a ghost, not human, something else-ish, wears no veil because her hair is endless. It flows around her like Karen. The dress is stitched from hundreds of others, each piece a story. A vow and a mesh hums, and the lake hums with Harry's step forward, reaches out, touches my forehead, and I see all of them. Every woman who heard the lullaby, every dress never worn again, every night the moon called not, taken not, drowned but morito, the memory of being left behind, the sorrow that never stops humming. I understand and the bride smiles. The ritual begins, no vows, no priest, just silencing Presinchoni by one. The dresses circle, each one offering a gift, a ring, a lock of hair, a final note sung. Water turns warm. The pressure lifts and I feel myself changing, not my body, me memory, things I forgot return a mesterberal. None of them are minithy, belong to the other sand. Now I carry them because the lake needs someone to remember, to gather, to guide. I rise, me dress no longer white, tight reflects the moon like still water, and around me the humming stops because I am the one who sings now. I remember my name, but only when the water is stillenly, when the moon hides tonight. It doesn't hide, it glows brighter than ever, and the lake is awake. I have been here long, yo dead, not out drifting, no longer walkie, floating, no longer breathe. I hum, song lives in me now, but I do not sing it alone. You are many. We are all brides, and we remember everything. I used to think the lake chose. At random, but I see the truth now. It chooses the ones who feel forgotten. The ones with silence blooming in their chest, ones who wait longer than they should. The ones who keep ribbons for no reason. Flake knows who you are before you do. We do not swim, drift to a circle human. The center is the altar. Beneath it, a door. A door no diver ever finds, because it only opens with memory, and we have so many. A new girl has arrived. She wears red. It fades in the water, not like dye, like blood forgotten. She doesn't remember how she got here, only that she dreamed of standing at the edge, holding a candle, hearing something hum inside her skull. Now she hums with us. Her voice is soft, but steady. She remembers love, a name, a promise. She sings that name until it becomes part of the lake. And then, like the rest of us, she becomes part of the song above. The town still forgets. They walk past the shore and feel cold. They call it wind. They call it weather. But it is us, singing, reminding, waiting. Because someone always listens. Even if they don't remember doing so, even if they swear they never came near the lake. They did. They always do. Tonight, I rise. We all do. One by one. Dresses shimmering like bone in moonlight. Hair flowing backward, upward. Eyes closed, but still seeing. We surface. Not to haunt, to witness. On the shore, someone is kneeling. Not a bride, not yet. A sister, a daughter, someone still. Learning what the song means. We do not speak. We hum. And in that hum she sees her own name written in the reflection. On water that does not ripple. This is the last wedding. Not the final bride. But the last with silence. After this, the lake will speak, not in voice, but in memory projected. Visions, ripples with eyes, fog that remembers how you died. We gather at the center. We spiral. We braid each other's hair. We place rings on fingers missing from hands. The bride waits. Not the first. Not the last, but the oldest. Her dress is made of timelines. Her veil is stitched from songs. Her fingers are cold stars. She says, now we show them. And we do. The lake lights from below. Every sunken vow shines. Every kiss never given glows. Every scream swallowed becomes note. The lake does not cry, it remembers. And the people come from homes, from sleep, from years past. They writhe barefoot. They don't know why, but their ears are open, their eyes flicker, and some hum without noticing. Because the song is not haunting, it's binding. One girl walks too far. Sand gives beneath her step. Water reaches. We catch her. We hold her. And for a moment, she remembers everyone she never married. Everyone she might have loved. Everyone she sang to in her sleep. And she joins us. Not beneath, but beside. On the surface, as a reflection, as a warning, as a sister. The lake hums louder now. It becomes sky. It becomes breath. And we rise into it. Not bodies, not ghosts, just music made from what remains. You may hear us when the wind bends the trees, when a dress sways with no bride, when the shore grows to still. We are there, waiting, welcoming. Because no one marries the lake twice, but all are asked once, and some say yes. Story 5. Mirrors of Willow Creek Asylum. Location: Willow Creek Asylum, South Wing, Room 12. Time: 11:40 to p.m. Rainfall consistent. Sound of crickets muffled by fog. Light intermittent. The mirror didn't reflect me. It should have. The angle was right. The lighting soft. I stood exactly where my shadow fell. But the face that looked back wasn't mine. It blinked slower. It smiled before I did. And its eyes, those were not my eyes. Willow Creek had been abandoned for 32 years, closed for ethical reorganization, which means nothing in government language, except something terrible happened, and someone paid to make it disappear. I came here because of my brother. He had dreams about this place, drawings, too, of hallways he'd never walked, doors with numbers that don't exist. And always mirrors. He disappeared last fall. Last seen near the southern fence. Backpack found just beyond the creek. Still zipped, still dry. But he wasn't inside. Only a photo of room 12 with his handwriting. She's watching me draw. Now I'm standing in room 12. The mirror in front of me is cracked but intact. Hairline fractures like frost across the surface. The rain taps against the window behind me, but the sound doesn't echo right. It's delayed, like the room is playing everything 1 second late. I test it. Tap once on the floor. The sound repeats. Half a second behind me. The mirror remains still. I raise my hand. The figure does too, but I freeze halfway because she continues all the way. Fingers pressed flat against glass. She's not blinking now. Her smile is gone. She's waiting. I stare longer than I should. My breath fogs the surface. But her breath DOES and single quotes T. instead. Frost creeps across her side, blooming out like silver vines. I step closer. The mirror breathes. Not literally, but it fogs outward, like lungs beneath ice. There's a sound, not from her, from the edges of the glass like a pencil scratching, or nails on wood. I look closer. There are marks under the cracks, not reflections, drawings. They weren't here before. I would have noticed thin lines, outlines of rooms, beds, hands, faces half finished, eyes wide. The marks form patterns, like a story being scratched into. The mirror from behind. A child's sketches, frantic and unfinished. I touch the glass. It hums, just faintly, like a throat trying to whisper through skin. Behind me, a soft sob. Not loud, not begging, just tired. I spin. No one there, only dust, and a single shoe, children's size, still dry, still warm. I pick it up. Inside, a tag, faded name written in red crayon. Milo, my brother's name. I take out my phone. No signal. Camera opens. I aim at the mirror. It shows nothing. Not me, not her, just blank space. I try video. Same result. But when I hit record, the mirror flashes once, then flickers, like it doesn't want to be seen or remembered. I whisper, "Who are you?" She doesn't mouth it. She doesn't move. But the answer forms across the cracks in black streaks, like charcoal melting in rain. I was the last to sleep. And then, below it, new words appear, etched slowly. You brought the rain with you. I don't understand. Not yet. But I feel something change. A draft pulls through the room, but the windows are closed. A sound, dripping. Not rain. Not from the ceiling. From the mirror. I lean in and see tears sliding down her cheeks. Inside the mirror, only one side is crying. Not mine. She's mourning. Me, Milo, something deeper. Then she lifts her hand again. But now, she's holding something. A pencil. Chewed. Familiar. It was my brother's. He used to tap it 3 times when nervous. And she taps once. Twice. 3 times. Then she drops it inside the mirror. And it hits the floor beside me. I pick it up. The wood is wet, but the lead is sharp. I kneel. And on the floor, there's dust, thick enough to write in. I draw the spiral he used to sketch, the one he said kept the dreams away. The mirror pulses, not visually, audibly, like glass under pressure, like something behind it, stretching. Then a crack widens, tiny, hairline, but deliberate. A hiss seeps out, like breath escaping a hospital mask. I smell bleach and ink and something sweet, like childhood spilled into formaldehyde. I back away, but the light above me flickers, and for the briefest moment, I see my reflection again. Not hers, me, but younger, eyes wider, face bruised, and then it's gone, replaced once more by her, and she mouths, "Look behind the mirror." The mirror didn't crack on its own. It opened. The fissure widened slowly, not like shattering, like an invitation, like something had been pressing, waiting for my touch. Behind the spider web glass, she moved again, but not like before, not mimicking, not reflecting, pacing. She turned her back, and so did the room. The lights flickered, but the light in the mirror stayed solid. The rain outside stopped, but the sound of it continued. Inside the mirror, as if the glass held its own weather. I reached out. My hand didn't meet glass. It passed through. Not all at once, like sliding into cold water. Or memory. At first, just my fingertips, then my palm, then my wrist, and then I was pulled, not dragged, not forced, more like guided. Like the room behind the mirror remembered me and wanted me home. Inside, everything looked the same, but not. The walls were softer, like old canvas, like padded corners, like dreams too fragile to hold shape. The bed was there, but it floated an inch off the floor. The shoe I picked up was still in my hand, but now it was wet, bleeding ink, and across the walls, drawings, hundreds, thousands, sketched in charcoal, in nail, in ash. All of them of room 12, but each different, each slightly wrong. One had no windows, one had 6. One was filled with hands drawn reaching inward. One was empty except for a mirror, and in that mirror, me, I kept walking. The floor squeaked in ways that didn't match my step, like someone else was walking alongside me. Out of rhythm, the humming returned, not melody, more like a lullaby played backwards. And then I heard her voice, clear, whispered directly behind my ear. We never left. I turned. Nothing. Only a new wall, covered in fingerprints. Too small to be mine, too many to be one person's. There was a hallway now. It hadn't been there before, but I wasn't surprised. Nothing in Willow Creek stayed still. I followed it, each step a bit deeper, each breath a bit heavier. The air here felt recycled, like breath passed down from patient to patient. Then another door, not numbered, but marked, etched by hand. Observation room B inside. Desks, clipboards, monitors covered in sheets. But on the far wall, a massive mirror, not cracked, not aged, to clean. And behind it, motion. Not mine, not hers, someone else, several. Their shapes just barely visible in the shadow. but I could hear them breathing, in sync, until one leaned forward and pressed their face to the other side of the glass dot. It was Milo, my brother, younger, scared. He didn't speak, but his mouth moved, and on the mirror, fogged by breath, "Don't follow her." Then he vanished, and the walls pulsed. I stepped back. The door behind me was gone. The light flickered, and I realized this wasn't a mirror. It was a lens, observing, filtering, remembering. And I had just stepped into its field. I heard the scratching again, louder now, faster. Not on the walls, on my own skin. I looked down, lines, faint, on my forearms, sketches of doors, of faces, of the spiral, Milo's spiral, but reversed, a counterclockwise memory. She returned then. The girl, the one who wasn't me. She stood in the corner, facing away, but I saw her back move, shuddering, not crying, drawing. On the floor, with the pencil, same spiral, same motion, again and again. Then she looked up, and her eyes were stitched, not shut, just crossed out. She whispered, "This room draws us in until we forget who drew first." I'm not sure how long I've been here. Time doesn't pass. It loops. Every corridor I walk bends into itself. Every mirror reflects a version of me I never became. In one, I'm crying. In another, smiling. In the third, I'm drawing, furiously, scratching spirals into the wall. With my fingernails, I try to stop walking, but the floor moves beneath me, gently, like a conveyor belt built from breath. The lights flicker in a language I don't know. Morse code, heartbeat, Milo, somewhere. I hear him whisper, "She's still drawing." The hallway splits. Both sides lead down. One lined with mirrors, the other with faces pressed into the wall. Not carved, not painted, embedded. I take the mirrored path, because at least those versions of me don't blink when I'm not looking. I pass a mirror labeled Room 37. Behind it, a hospital bed, filled, occupied. But the woman on it isn't asleep. She's mouthing the spiral, syllables drawn into breath. It writes you back. It writes you back. I move on. Another mirror. This time, it's black, not off. Watching. I walk past, but hear something behind me. A breath, a drag, footsteps. That scrape. I turn. Nothing. Just reflections. But in each one, my eyes are closed. A door appears, solid, real, wooden, handle cold, familiar, like the ones from our childhood house. I open it. Inside, the same room as before, room 12, but mirrored, completely reversed. The writing on the wall is backward. The shoe is now on the ceiling. The mirror is gone. But where it was, a hole, a circular cavity filled with paper, drawings, hundreds, thousands. Every one is of me, sleeping, breathing, drawing. I touch one. The paper is soft to soft, like skin. It bleeds when I fold it, black, like ink, like blood that doesn't remember color. Behind the stack, a spiral drawn in chalk. It glows, pulses, beckons. I kneel, touch the center. and fall into it. I land in a room with mirrors on all four walls. Each one cracked, each one wet. Rain falls here, but there is no ceiling, just darkness and thunder that sounds like names. Milo, me, the girl, others. Dozens. Hundreds. Each name drawn across the mirror, then wiped clean by rain. In the center, a chair, a recorder, still playing. Milo's voice. She's not part of the mirror. She's the part that wanted out. Another voice joins it. Female, raspy, soft, but present. We don't get visitors, only returners. The chair turns. No one in it, just a dress, folded neatly. Child-size. With a name stitched inside. Maribel. The mirrors begin to pulse, each reflection out of sync. My face smears, melts, rebuilds. In one eye Maribel, in another eye Milo, in the last eye no one, just the spiral. I scream, but the sound doesn't come from me. It comes from behind the glass. And now I know I'm not in the asylum anymore. I'm in what remembers it. I try to run. The floor breaks, drops me again. This time into black water, cold, silent. When I surface, I'm back in room 12, but it's upside down. Rain on the floor, chair hanging from the ceiling, mirror below me, and in the glass, Milo, drawing, with his back to me. He turns, he sees me, and mouths, "You drew the door open. Now draw it closed." I didn't wake up, because I was never asleep. This place, this looping, mirrored maze, it is the dream, but it's someone else's, and I'm inside it, stuck like dust between glass. Milo told me to draw the door closed, but there are no pencils left, only the spiral, etched on the floor, on the walls, on my skin. Every time I breathe, I hear it turning, not in sound, in motion. Somewhere beneath the building, something winds tighter and tighter. I try retracing my steps, back through the inverted room 12. But now it's sinking. The floor sags with rain that doesn't fall. The ceiling peels like paper. Words bleed from it. My name, Milo's name, others. Every name ever whispered into a pillow in this place. I find a hallway I don't recognize. It hums when I enter. The walls are covered in old interview forms, but the ink has been replaced with hair, braided tightly, wrapped in spirals. Each question written in a hand I almost remember. When did you first stop seeing your reflection? What did the mirror show you instead? Who told you to draw it? I don't answer, but the paper wrinkles. As if disappointed, I push further. The hallway tilts, not downward, sideways. Gravity shifts like thought. I fall, but land upright, in a room lit only by breathing. In the center, a cradle, covered in glass. Inside, a mirror shard, and within it, Maribel. She doesn't move, but she sees me, and begins to hum. The same lullaby Milo drew in loops, the same melody I heard. On night 3, the same notes echoing from the sink the day he vanished. I press my hand to the glass, and she presses back. But I'm not cold, she is. Colder than the lake behind the facility. Colder than the silence on the tapes. colder than memory. She mouths one sentence. If you leave now, it won't know who to keep. Another spiral forms beneath me. This one drawn in light. A trapdoor of reflection. It spins. Slower, heavier dot, and when I fall through, I land inside the mirror again. But this time, I am the reflection. I watch someone enter room 12. They look like me, but they hesitate. They scan the walls, check the window. They see the mirror. They see me, and I smile. Before they do, because I remember this. This is the beginning. But for them, not me. Their phone flickers. The pencil drops. They kneel, draw the spiral, and when they do, I step out. Not physically, not completely, just enough to say, we're still drawing. I disappear again, into the next version, the next memory, the next room 12. Because Willow Creek was never a hospital, it was a sketch pad, and we, the patients, were all just unfinished lines, waiting for someone to complete. US or erase us. I begin to wander deeper than ever before. The spiral leads me into a cathedral made entirely of glass. Each wall is a face I've seen in the asylum. Each face repeats my own name when I pass. Inside this place, gravity vanishes. I float upward through layers of echo. Each echo is a patient's final word. Each voice trying to write itself back into being. Then I see it, the final mirror, hanging above nothing, fractured in 13 precise places. Every shard reflects a different year of my life, and in each, someone else is drawing. I reach for one shard. It burns. But I do not pull back. I lean in, and through it, I see my brother. But he is old, older than he should be, and he's drawing room 12 again. He stops, looks directly at me, and whispers, "This is how the mirror survives. Through us, through memory, through the act of sketching itself." Then he fades, and the shard turns black. I fall again, this time into silence. No rain, no echo, only a pencil in my hand, and a wall waiting to be drawn on. Final scene, the mirror is cracked, but the rain is steady. No one screams, only the faint sound of pencil scratching. A door opens where no door was, and the spiral spins. Backwards, forward, all at once. And if you listen, you can hear your own name, whispered from the other side of the glass. And to this day, no one knows who or what was behind that final knock. Maybe it was just the wind, or maybe something else found its way inside. If stories like this keep your eyes tracing the shadows, you're not alone. Hit the like button before the darkness returns. Subscribe, and we'll keep the stories coming. Real horrors that wait until you're half asleep, and then whisper your name. This is American Pulse and Paranormal. Sleep well, if it lets you.